This is a Bulldog Radio podcast.
The Ferris State Bulldogs have upset the nation's #2 ranked team. Wide open! Taylor is going to take this one to the house! Touchdown Bulldogs!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the most valuable sports podcast. I'm Brandon Worth, across from me, Joe Nagy. We got a banger of an episode. Ferris State Sports Report domination over the weekend, as well as a lot to go on in the NFL. The Pro Bowl is changing, Joe, and it seems very interesting.
It's going to be an interesting little change for that. I'm excited to talk about that, and then we'll close out this quick little episode with a nice little discussion about American Cornhole League coming up, the season and all that stuff. $1 million season. It's going to be sick. Can't wait to talk about that.
Going to be cool. But first, we got a special guest coming on the show. Brennan Cairney of Ferris State Cross Country, one of my roommates and teammates, will be joining us to talk about his journey to Ferris State in the season so far, and it's going to be a great interview. So without further ado,
let's swing into the interview.
Now joined in studio, Brennan Cairney is here from Ferris State Cross Country and Track and Field, a.k.a. one of my teammates and one of my roommates. Brendan, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Brendan, super great to have you here. First question for you. How's the season been going so far? Got a few races under you guys' belt. You know, what are you guys looking forward to? What do you guys got to work on?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had Bulldog, which is at Catkey here, and then we had Spartan 6 days later, so it was a short turnaround. I would say Bulldog went pretty well for most of us, actually. We had a really good showing as a team, went 1 through 6, and I think that set us up for the season. We had a pretty good showing there. But then Spartan was a little tougher. The weather was brutal, and Spartan's always a tough course. The grass was a little wet, and it was hot. So I'd say Bulldog went well. Spartan, we put the work in, maybe not the results we wanted, but we've gotten some good work in so far this year.
For sure.
Yeah, and everybody's story into running is certainly unique, and yours certainly is. Just talk about what made you start in running, especially at Fraser and even before then.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know a lot of people start running in middle school or maybe even earlier. I really didn't start running until my freshman year of high school. So in middle school, I was on the drum line, and I was like center snare in the drum line. That's what I enjoyed to do. And then I tried out for, the high school drum line, and I wanted to be on the snare drum. And I was better than one of the guys that made it on, but the guy that made it on over me was a senior, and I was a freshman. So they put me on cymbals, and I said, yeah, that's not worth my time. I will not be doing that. So, I gave running a shot, and here we are.
Absolutely. And especially, with the recruiting process and stuff like that in high school, what was that like to, be recruited by Ferris? Were they, one of the first, one of the last? Like, what was that kind of like?
So I had a lot of schools reach out to me. Ferris, I actually reached out to Coach Kelsch. It was different recruiting here as opposed to everywhere else. But I had my unofficial visit with Coach. And then after that, we scheduled an official visit, stayed the night in Andrea Babsky's dorm.
Yes.
And the rest is history. And now I'm here.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you're studying business right now. Just talk about the overall academic pleasures you've had, and especially having some of your teammates as well being in the finance world as well.
Yeah, so I'm a finance major, and I actually just added another major. I'm an econ major because I wanted to fill up 4 full years here. I'm a finance and econ dual major, and Donis Harris is actually also a finance major.
Shout out to Donis.
Yeah, so he lives in our house. He's on the other side of our house, and so it's pretty nice to be able to ask him questions if I have trouble with anything. It's been good. Classes aren't that difficult. I went to a STEM school in high school, so this stuff is not that difficult compared to, I know some of you engineering majors out there, that stuff is difficult, but business is not that hard compared to
the redneck wood schools that me and Joe grew up in.
Shameless,
for sure.
Shameless flex there. No big deal, yeah. Especially with us being cornfield guys, just no big deal about that either. And speaking of the house, new house for the cross team.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's it been? How's the new digs looking like?
Oh, it's been great. Dude, it's so fun to live with your teammates. And last year I lived with a few of my teammates, Casey and Dan. But this year we have a full house to ourselves. There's 2 4-bedroom sides. There's only 7 of us living in there this year, but it's been great. It makes time fly, really. It's like, wow, it's already like midway through week 5. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been a pleasure being able to to live with you guys and just talk about overall. I mean, you're coming from Fraser now. We call and joke around as a team as the concrete jungle in the zoo. Just talk about the comparison coming from almost the heart of Detroit into the hillbilly hay fields here in Big Rapids.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Fraser and Big Rapids are not alike at all. For one, well, in terms of running, Fraser is completely flat. You will not find any hills in Fraser. I mean, if you want to do a hill workout, you might have to go to like a sledding hill or something. Like that's what we've done that in the past. And that's as much elevation gain as you're going to get. Whereas in Big Rapids, you can't go 2 feet without, going up and down a hill. And then, yeah, like you said, there's a lot of concrete in Fraser. There's not much dirt. So it's nice to, when we do long runs here by Clear Lake or we run on Riverwalk all the time. It's nice to get on dirt. So in terms of running, very different. Just in terms of everything else, I mean, yeah, it's a little different. Big Rapids isn't that much different because, it is a city. It's a college town. But once you start getting a little further out of Big Rapids, I mean, we're in the country.
Much more.
Yeah, we got the cornfields and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with kind of Big Rapids and going on workouts and stuff like that. Big Rapids is not usually the most sunny place. It's usually rain. It's getting cold, especially with a change of season now. It's getting a little bit colder. Can you kind of talk about what going through workouts is like now, especially with a change of seasons?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's something that separates us at Ferris from some other teams, Saginaw, Grand Valley, you know what I'm saying. Those teams are blessed with some really nice indoor facilities, but we do not have those luxuries. But I think that's something we rally around as a team. We're out there no matter what the weather is, if it's storming, if it's, beautiful, if it's super hot, it doesn't matter what the weather, we're out there grinding. And I think that really pays off when it comes to races because you're not going to stop racing if it rains. So let's run in the rain, let's run when there's 15-mile-per-hour winds, and we get good workouts in.
Yeah, the blue-collar Bulldogs, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, any sport, anytime, anywhere. But there's I think a lot of people don't get in the context of what the cross-country track and field community is like. It's a really tight-knit group, and I mean, obviously now being a part of it for multiple years like myself, just talk about all the relationships that you've made with guys on the team and just overall the chemistry being so much improved now over these last couple of years.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. I never would have thought that we were in this position coming in a couple of years ago when I was a freshman, but here I am. Here we are a couple years later. The team is so close. Really, everyone that's on the team really wants to be here now. We don't have anyone that is just here just to be an athlete. But we have everyone here wants to work. We put in the work, and this is the most in-depth team we've ever had. The front end depth is crazy. So that's what I know Brandon said this I think a couple podcasts ago, but he was top dog at the first meet, but he wouldn't be surprised if he was fifth the next meet. And that's the same thing for me. I think I was second the first meet, and then I was fourth the next meet, and there's no shame in that because our team is so good, so good.
We're getting there.
And especially be that selfless and have that kind of mindset to be where it's, a competitive mindset, especially in practices, but also to be, congratulatory for your fellow teammates to be playing good. How important is that to be able to, especially later on in the season when guys might be a little bit dogged, they might be a little bit tired, but, you got the guys behind you to be able to really rally behind you and give you kind of that extra boost.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's huge. Running, a lot of it's individual. It's an individual sport in the sense that you have to run your time. No one else can run your time for you. But it's huge in the team aspect where you have to rally around each other. Running is long. We're always in season outside of the summer. And so you really have to encourage the guys. They have to encourage you, and you use each other. You build off each other. And that's how you get a good team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we got some big races on deck. Louisville and Lewis, I'm sure, the two that we're probably most looking forward to this upcoming season. Just talk about the preparation, what it's been like for those races, and as well going to be able to be closer to home now for GLIACs and as well as the Warrior Challenge over at Wayne State later this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So Louisville is going to be fun. That is one of the fastest courses in the country probably for collegiate running. And we're expecting some big things. Big PRs coming, I imagine, from most, if not the whole team. And then Lewis will be good. That's in right outside Chicago, and that's usually a good race. There's a big hill that that's right at the beginning. That's tough, but that's always a pretty competitive race as well. And then, yeah, in terms of Wayne State hosting the Warrior Challenge and then GLIACs, that'll be cool. It'll be nice to be home. And I know some people from back home said that they're going to come out and support just because of how close it is to where I live.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really awesome to hear. And last question for you, Brandon. We asked this to everybody. What's your favorite thing about being a Ferris State Bulldog?
I think it's stuff that we've already covered. I think it's the blue collar mentality. Blue collar Bulldog. We don't have everything, and obviously we have more now that we have that nice, beautiful weight room. But we don't have an indoor track. We don't have the nicest facilities. We don't even have all of our stuff to make a full track team.
Yeah.
So, we grind with what we have, and we make do, and that's probably a benefit to us. And then also what we were talking about in terms of the team, this is a very close team this year, and it's really great to see how far the team has progressed in terms of chemistry and skill level. I mean, we've really worked hard, and we're building this program.
Awesome.
We're getting there, baby. But
Yes,
Brendan,
sir.
thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate
thanks for
the
having
time,
me.
man.
Big thanks for Brendan for coming on the show. It's super great to have him on and get a good little conversation going and be able to kind of get what it's like to be a Ferris State Bulldog and coming in from across the state. It's really cool to see. But we'll hop right into the Ferris State Sports Report. Brandon, let's just start with football.
Football.
Domination.
Across the board.
I don't think you can really claim it as anything else. That was just a pure show of incredible football talent, I guess. 69-3 over Waldorf University. Pretty boring game after the second half started, not going to lie. It was basically, like I said, all Ferris State. It was a little bit slow start. I think we went, 14-3 to the first quarter. So it was a little bit scary then, but, man, 35 points in the second half. In the second quarter, and then we just kept the train rolling. 69-3. That's just incredible. Great showing from Carson Golker, 5 touchdowns. Tyrese Hunt-Thompson got a really quick touchdown from Evan Cummins to start the game, which we've been seeing kind of as a staple so far in our offense. We really tried to get that big play right off the bat. And there's just some really good performances from everybody else. A lot of kickers got to be able to show their stuff that day as well. So, Brandon, it was just a good all-around homecoming for the Bulldogs.
Oh, what a great homecoming for sure. Shout out to Waldorf for coming out. I'm sure that was a very tough trip for them, and definitely a good opportunity.
You see some of their parents rode across the ferry?
Did they really?
Yeah, they went to the Badger, and they put their cars in the Badger.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Make it an experience. Why not? So
it's it's about the same time because it's like a 3-hour drive, 3-hour boat ride.
Right.
It's like
yeah.
A 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
To go.
Been going all the way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an experience too.
Sure.
But no, I'm sure they learned a lot from this game playing us, and we appreciate them. It's hard to schedule teams to play a national champion on homecoming. Ooh,
you're not going to really get a lot of people who want to play.
No, not going to get a lot of people that want to play us. But shout out for them for coming out. But yeah, it was great to see. There was a really, really good showing all across the board. I mean, the second quarter was definitely where this game was put away. The momentum was all in our favor because Waldorf was actually getting somewhere, especially after that botched snap on that punt on 4th down, and then being able to stop them for a field goal there in the first quarter was crucial. Because that could have tied the game up, and I mean, it could have gotten a lot closer from there, but we ended up stalling them from there, got a field goal on the ensuing possession, and then out of the gate got a couple turnovers and just let it rip. 3 touchdowns on the ground for Carson Golker in that quarter, as well as Evan Cummins got in the end zone, and then Childress absolutely mossed a dude.
Mossed a guy.
Mossed.
That was like, I was like, oh, that's going to be intercepted. And he just like,
whoop. Snatch.
I'll just jump over you and pull it over you real quick. That was an incredible catch.
No problem for Coach Chill. No problem for him at all. But no, it was a great performance all across the board. 3 takeaways I found from this game. 1, Evan Cummins can still sling it. We give him a lot of credit as a running quarterback, and he definitely has a dominant skill set running the football, but he's still got an arm, and he's definitely going to keep defenses honest. And I mean, especially right out of the gate, 63-yard pass
on the money.
Dot
on the
down
money.
The sideline to Tyrese Hunt-Thompson in that first drive. And that was really what really solidified it from across the board. I think he ended up finishing 13 of 19 passing for just over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have an interception, but that really wasn't technically his fault as the ball was tipped. But anyway, it was still great to see that double dimension offense on display too. He ended up getting the end zone, and obviously Carson Golker, 5 touchdowns. His role inside the red zone is going to be crucial for us because as much as it is I mean, you'd only have to put him in the red zone, but you know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to bowl his way through the offensive and defensive line and find the end zone. So he's definitely going to be the red zone man. Be very interested to see what packages they scheme up in the second half when teams start to load the box against us, because he can also throw the football. It's fun when you have a lot of weapons, Joe, on your team.
Yeah,
it just makes things a little different.
It's a nice little thing, and it's nice too, especially because these guys are really stepping up, especially with Malik being out. It was kind of a little bit of an iffy situation, especially going into the Lenore-Ryan game when it was said that Malik was going to be out for a few weeks. But to see these guys really step it up, especially on the ground, and also be able to pick up the passing game too, it's just really going to be able to keep defenses on their toes, especially with Finley coming up, which we'll talk a little bit more about Thursday. But that's going to be a team that's going to be a really good test to kind of get back into the swing of things right before GLIAC play starts up. So very excited for that one. But, Evan, especially last year, wasn't a guy who you could really trust too well in the air. But, now it seems like it really worked on that over the offseason, and he's been really picking that up, which is really good, especially seeing that we can toss in really whoever. Jesse got a few snaps as well, and he looked pretty solid. We can toss in really anybody, and they're going to be able to do some damage.
Yeah, the second thing that I took away from this game is we give our defensive line a lot of credit, but our secondary can still ball. Like, these guys are elite level.
Jameel Thomas almost had 2 interceptions.
He should have had 2 interceptions.
He should have had a pick six. He should have had a pick six.
I mean, in the press conference, me and Joe were up there. Unfortunately, that footage was lost in the transition to being
forever
on YouTube. But no, when he was up there, he's like, "Man, I'm still thinking about that drop."
I think he was
after the game.
He saw the end zone. There was literally, maybe the quarterback might have caught him, but it was just going to be a 30-yard sprint.
Deer in headlights, nothing in front of him.
It's just one of those things, It's just like you gotta be able to keep your head on a swivel. You gotta keep your head on your shoulders in those situations.
Yeah.
I mean, he made it back. Got an interception basically, 3 or 4 drives after that.
Yeah.
He'd be able to
almost wasn't his. It was actually him and I can't remember who the other player was, almost collided to both intercepted. Yeah. But Jamil ended up with the
throwback to the national championship game with Liam and I think it was Sydney or something.
Yeah, or Alex might have been colliding for the interception, but. Hey, we have a nose for the football, and that's the third thing I wanted to bring up, no matter what side, because the heads-up plays that we made, I think one of the most underrated plays in this game was when Evan had that fumbled snap. It was recovered by Waldorf, and then he ran down the defender and stripped it back out, and we got the football back. That was an underrated play on that drive, and went up scoring from it. I mean, that's huge. Like, you're giving your team a chance to get the football back after just an unfortunate error on both sides. So, but it was definitely, and I mean, I don't know how many times defensive line got through, absolutely was just punching the football out. I think Waldorf ended with 5 fumbles. They only lost 3 of them, but 2 of them were, I literally, one of them I saw got punched literally like 10 yards in the air. And I don't remember if it was Oladipo or if it was Murphy that punched it out. It went straight up in the air. But our guys find the football, and that's a huge part for this team as we end up getting these chances back and able to take that and turn it into points. That's what's huge, because there's a lot of teams that we see and across the board in all sports, for example, and I hate to bring it up with Brendan to be on the episode here earlier, but the Raiders, his team, they're great at getting down the field, but finding the end zone. Hardest part, right?
Done.
So we have a great job of being able to score in the red zone. We do have to work on the little things, of course. I mean, obviously, snapping has been a little bit of a concern. We've had a couple.
I mean, we've had 2 or 3, but I mean that's only in the rain.
Each game. So. Yeah, obviously it's going to go with the elements for sure, but cleaning those up will make us better for sure. And third down, definitely we can be a little bit better at. I think we're 4 of 10. Granted, we weren't on third down a lot during this game.
Yeah, a lot of times we kept going on first down. First and 10.
Yeah, so. It's just a momentum, so obviously we want to keep that as going. But if it doesn't necessarily, we get to second and third down, being able to still convert will be crucial for this football team if they want to go far this postseason. But yeah,
exactly.
Dominant performance across the board. I mean, both sides played great. Saw a lot of second, third string guys get in, and they showed a lot of great stuff. Deion Small, he looks like a very promising player. He had a really nice kick return and a couple catches. So it's definitely going to be nice to see him being behind a lot of these really good slot guys that we have, like Marcus and CJ, that really he can take into that role. Because, I mean, we got so many talented players, and it's just so unfortunate. They're going to have to move on at some point. But, I mean, the depth we got, man, we got so many guys behind them. It sucks we can't play them all. To be honest, it sucks.
It really is tough to be able to have that many guys behind and to not be able to, get them to shine. But at least with this game being as many points as we scored in that deficit that Waldorf had, we were able to get a lot of guys in, which was really good. But I think we want to hear some scores from around the GLIAC.
Yes, sir.
Saginaw Valley took on Michigan Tech in their first matchup of the year. This one was a non-conference. They won 35-13. Saginaw Valley did up in Houghton. And then Northern Michigan defeated Post 42-14 for their homecoming game. Davenport went to take on Northwood, the former GLIAC member. They won 51-17. And Grand Valley State took on Wayne State, also in a non-conference matchup. They will be taking each other on later. Because what do they play for? Like the golden boots or something like that? Or the ugly shoes?
Could be. I'm not totally
I forget
sure
what their thing is called, but they have a rivalry game. 48-9, Grand Valley State won for that one. And boy, that makes it for a little bit of a spicy little thing going on in the AFCA coaches poll, because Ferris State's number 1 and Grand Valley is number 2. Will that stay for the next 3 weeks? Hopefully it will, because a 1 versus 2 matchup for the Anchor Bone would be insane. That'll be the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah,
too, we had a 2 versus 3 a couple years ago. Our freshman year, right? Was the 2 versus 3 matchup?
I think it was, and that was when Detroit was here. Yep, I think something like that. We were both top 5 or top 3 for sure.
Yeah, we ended up winning that game, which was really good. And I mean, we went to Lubbers, but this is the first time that we'll be back at Top Taggart in the regular season against the Lakers since 2019. So it's going to be a really cool situation. It's going to be packed. I bet you'll probably be seeing 10,000 people there, most likely.
Honestly, yeah.
At
if
least.
It keeps it, that's right.
Grand Valley fans travel well. I mean, we'll have a lot of people show out. I mean, I know a lot of alumni are going to come back to that game. I mean, I got a sister who goes to Grand Valley she's coming, and a lot of her friends that she went to school with are coming to that game. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a really great experience in these next 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, Grand Valley showed a lot of great things offensively. They have the leading passer in the GLIAC right now, in Cade Peterson.
This is probably Grand Valley's best team they've had in 10 years.
Oh, yeah, I would say that they're up there. I think that this team that I've at least seen from some of their games is a little bit better than last year's team. And I think that it's definitely going to be a fun matchup. And, I mean, buckle your seatbelts, punch your tickets. October 15th, baby.
It's going down. Going to sell out. Well, I bet they're probably not going to sell out, because we have we basically have unlimited space there.
Yeah, kind of.
We don't really have.
We'll have people up on the grass, up in the.
We'll have people probably all around the grass.
The south end zone for sure.
We'll probably set up stands for the other side too.
I would hope so.
That's what we did last time.
Yeah, pack the house.
Yeah,
crazy. I hope so. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But first, they'll be taking on Findlay this upcoming weekend, traveling to Ohio to face the Oilers in that long-time rivalry contest. 1 o'clock kickoff, I believe, is slated for that game. You can follow along.
We'll talk about that more with Thursday as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that Thursday for sure. Anyway, in recap, volleyball was also in action over the weekend. Overall, a solid weekend. I think it probably went a little bit better expecting. Or I should say, went a little bit less than expected over this weekend. Obviously, had the slip up against Davenport. 3-2 was the final in that one, but bounced right back against a good Saginaw team. Ended up beating them 3-0 to get at least a split on the weekend. But I think that you still saw a lot of great things from that Davenport game. Obviously, did not play our best. We had a couple sets there where we just weren't getting quite the best setups I think that we wanted. When I was following along some of the play-by-play. But, I mean, we still hung in there. We stayed gritty, even though we were down early, especially after the third set, backs against the wall a little bit. Kept fighting back, and that's what we like to see, and we've seen from this team before. Just simply ran out of the special stuff going into set 5.
Yeah, which was kind of unfortunate. I think we were just a little bit sloppy in those first 3 sets. We were able to pick one up, but I think just kind of making sure we can stay the course, because the last couple of times that we've gone to the 5th set or even the 4th set, we've kind of been struggling a little bit. I mean, the past 3 games before that, we went 3-0, but even at Wayne State, when we had to play them and then went 3-2, it was a very gritty game. It wasn't the best showing that we've ever had, especially with kind of hit performances and stuff like that, but we were able to do pretty well. So I think especially going into future, especially getting ready for this weekend with Northern and Michigan Tech, two very good teams, Michigan Tech making it to the regionals last year, we got to make sure that we either, one, get out fast, get out hot, and, set the tone early, or just keep a nice consistent grit throughout the whole way through. Or else if we kind of fall apart near the 5th set or the 4th set, if they're able to steal one from us, then it might not be the best thing.
Yeah. Overall, when I keep looking at correlations, the two biggest things that pop up in the games that we've lost this year are hit percentage and errors. Those are been when those are higher, we're definitely in position. And I think one of the biggest things, service errors were a big part. 21 service errors this weekend. That's the most we've had in a game this season. And I mean, we still fought back. We were still gritty. And Davenport's a good team. They're a really good team. They're 10-4 right now, or at least when they were when we played them. So that's definitely a good sign that we're able to play with these good teams. Obviously, would have loved to win. But I mean, overall, we have one of the best attacking teams in the conference. I mean, we have had games where we finish above 3-3 hit percentage, which is incredible. And I think we've only had one game that we've won where we've been just on or above 200, I believe, in total. So, I mean, we've only had one game that we have won lower than 200. Or no, it's 220. My apologies. And that was Wayne State. That was that gritty 5-set game. So, I mean, we were 1-9-1 against Davenport. Not the best, but certainly made up for it against Saginaw Valley. I mean, dominance, took the errors down completely. 357 hit percentage. That's lights out. And they're back in the win column here in this opening GLIAC slate. But, Joe, over to soccer.
I'm down.
Soccer we go. I mean, it was a very solid weekend. Got 2 wins on 2 special days, Alumni Appreciation Day and Senior and Parents Weekend. 3-0 was the combined score, 1-0 against Purdue Northwest and 2-0 against Wisconsin Parkside. Offense had a lot of opportunities, which we expected in this one. Just couldn't quite get them all in the back of the net, and if we did, it would have been lopsided. Because, I mean, if you look at the stats in that opening Northwest game.
14 shots on goal.
Yeah, do you want to know the total shots? 36-3.
Yeah.
That just shows you. We had a lot of opportunities, and that's just been really story of the year so far. This is a really good team that just hasn't quite found the net as much as we have liked.
Yeah, just have not been able to kind of find the back of the net, which is unfortunate. But I think especially just getting that amount of volume just says that we're really going to be able to kick it up. Especially when we kind of find our groove a little bit. We've kind of been struggling with getting, especially with offsides and stuff like that. But capitalizing on set pieces is a big thing, especially against Parkside. We did get one off the corner, but it's like a quick corner where it passed to Izzy and she kind of went diced through the defense and top corner. Like, it was an incredible shot. But especially with Wisconsin Parkside, I mean, we had 8 corners?
Yeah.
And I think like 12 set pieces or something like that.
Yep.
And not to mention we had 11 shots on goal, 25 shots total. So we were able to really kind of keep the momentum going. It's just, once again, we just got to be able to find the back of the net, kind of get more quality shots on goal rather than the ones that we did have were kind of just more, rebounds or just kind of like desperation shots almost that weren't super great or super well placed, which if you're able to do, like, really only have to do is just kind of find yourself more time or just get a little bit more calm, cool, and collected under those moments, because once you do, a little bit farther to the right, especially at the close range where we've been getting our shots, it's going to be able to go in. It's not going to be easy to save.
Yeah, I was watching Ted Lasso the other day, and he was mentioning after they had for those familiar with the show, they had the streak of like the 7 games where they didn't end up winning or losing. They just had this giant tie streak. And I just vividly remember Coach Lasso saying something along the lines of like, hey, it's going to be weird. It's not going to go the way that we expect it to, but it's going to happen. We keep the course, we do things right, then it's going to end up making up itself. Sure enough, they did lose the game, but I mean, they did break the streak, which was the goal, and then they went on a huge winning streak. But that's been an awesome show. An unintentional shout out, I guess, to Ted Lasso. If you guys haven't watched that show, I mean, oh my gosh.
I wish I had Apple TV.
Fantastic. I just got mine with my Roku TV purchase, and so I'm just binging it, and I'm getting caught up, and it's fantastic. But yeah, anyway, I mean, would have loved more goals over the weekend. I'm sure Coach Henson would have too. We heard him say that in the post game. But I mean, still, ending up finding the net. 2 wins is what you asked for. 6 points, which will be crucial in the standings now as we're trying to catch up with Northern and Grand Valley in that category. But Julia Bernal, first goal is a Bulldog. Congrats to her, first of the season, as well as Izzy Zamborini doing Izzy Zamborini type things in that second game against Parkside, doing it all herself and
almost had a hat trick.
Almost had a hat trick.
If that bicycle kick went in, that would have been sick.
Oh my goodness!
Dude,
that kind of went Sports Center.
That went off the top because she beat the goalie. It just went off the top
off
the top, and I was like, dang. It was like a half one. She didn't like fully commit, but she did like kick over her head kind of. It would have been really sick. But
yeah, but dominance in the Parkside game for sure as well. And ended up getting to see Lauren in goal that Friday game, so that was cool as well. And Daria also picked up the weekend in net on Sunday against Parkside. So Zamborini going for 2 goals. Cole and Ella Wolf got the assist. Lindsay Cole also GLIAC Player of the Week. So congrats to her. And also Eddie Jewett for football as the Specialist of the Week as well. Congrats to them.
Huge
Congrats. Big shout out for them. Earning that honor. Very cool honor. So very, very cool.
Pretty sick.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Final sport of the weekend. Golf was in action over the weekend.
What was golf up to, Brandon?
Oh, golf was up to, golf things, you could say.
Golfing.
Not going to lie, when I was following along with the fall invitational they had at home, it was still wet. And it didn't look as fun as probably expected. But, still played really well. The B team showed out for sure. Ending up finishing second only to Saginaw Valley overall in the 2-round tournament on Saturday. So definitely saw a lot of great things. I think this team is definitely on the up and up, and I think we saw a lot of great things, especially overall scoring. And just like we were mentioning, Joe, last year, our teams are so much, they're so dominant at being able to improve from round 1 to round 2 to round 3 to round 4.
If we don't start out hot, we're able to really pick it up. Especially, we see it everywhere. Golf, basketball, soccer, we see it when they come out to halftime. First quarter for football, usually we're a little bit slow. Not like lose the game at that point, but second quarter is usually when we start to fire on all cylinders. We see it all over across the board for Ferris Athletics, which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. I guess it's kind of in the eyes of the beholder, but still, when you're able to have that much improvement on day 2 or, day 2, second quarter, when you come out the locker room or anything like that, that's just a big, it's a big good thing to have. I guess I was trying to figure out something else to say, but a big good thing to have is all I can think about.
Big good thing to have.
But to be able to have that, to kind of fall back on and to be able to know that, hey, once it comes around to it, if we're not going to be clicking in the first quarter or something like that, we'll be able to fix it during halftime. That's really valuable thing to have.
Yeah. Would you consider the turn between rounds halftime for golf?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Intermission.
What do you actually, just a break? I don't know what they call that.
I feel like it's just the end of day 1.
End of day 1 to day 2. What if you're still playing on the same day, though?
I guess so. Then it's just end of round 1.
Is it just off period? I'm not sure.
You play 36 rounds a day or something?
Yeah, they played 36 in one day.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So I'm not sure what that would be called. I'll have to talk to Coach Stark. Maybe we should have him in the seat right next to us. We can ask him about that. But yeah, I would agree.
We'll get him.
Yeah, for sure. But Elena Eldred had a dominant performance as well. She finished tied for second with an overall 3 over score. And Abby Gravel showed out, especially on the B team squad. She ended up finishing 4th overall, shooting 6 over on the 2 rounds. So shout out to those two for some dominant performances. And, they carried it over pretty well into the Laker Fall invite. And Coach Stark really challenged the teams because the weather did not improve from Saturday over to Sunday and Monday. So, and that says something right there. But they ended up playing very, very well. They ended up improving over those 2 rounds. And, really took it to a lot of these good teams, beating Saginaw Valley, the team that just played on Saturday. So that's a big comeback for them as well. And Daniel Stowski played very, very well. She shot a 7 over to finish 6th overall, with the team finishing tied for 5th. But we got the edge over Saginaw Valley because why, Joe? We played better in the second round.
We got that dog in us.
That's right. For golf.
Get us an x-ray. We'll have some dogs in us.
I think we should definitely make sure that is possible. So, definitely.
You know what? Side note.
Yes.
You know what I just noticed? Or I was walking because I had to go have a meeting with Rob Bentley.
Yeah.
For athletic stuff. I didn't know that down by the this cool little addition, they have a beware of dog signs kind of around.
Yeah, in the performance area. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Beware of dogs. It's on the door for the
funny
cap.
find a little motivation and stuff.
Find some motivation. Dude, the weight room is so nice. I'm just going to say it right now.
It's
We are
pretty
pleasured.
sick. Like, it's really cool.
It's been a long
Just
time.
looking at it through the window, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Being able to lift in there is a pleasure.
They need to get like a surround sound system in there instead of just a small speaker.
Sound is coming, but
Really?
it's just going to take some time, yes. So apparently that is what
I'd
I've
have
heard.
to insulate the sides because they're more of like rafters than anything. So like it's not all echoey in there.
Yeah, I think so. They're working on it. I know Coach Thede mentioned that they were working on the surround sound, so it might take some time. But when it does get done, man, it could be bumping in there.
Probably, yeah.
It was crazy in the unveiling, and that was just, I believe, like the overhead speakers, I want to say, and those aren't as good, and it was still bumping in there. So you can probably see the video online, but I mean, it's a pleasure to have.
I'm just a
good
lowly
facilities, man.
non-athletic regular person, so
The narp?
I have to go to the student rec center. They're bumping some Fleetwood Mac this morning, which if you want to work out to "Sweet Little Lies" or whatever that song is.
You don't want to listen to Meek Mill in the weight room?
I do, but they don't play good music. So I listen to my own music anyways. But when I take it out and I hear
Fleetwood
Mac or whatever her name is,
can't say that'd be my first choice when
when I'm trying to hit bench PRs, I can't really find motivation with that.
The Iron Grind definitely needs some good tunes, and
exactly.
Fleetwood Mac would not be my first choice. So maybe somebody from the Recs listening. We need some bumps,
Justin,
bumping jams.
We need to play us a little bit better, but. That'll probably do it for the Ferris State Sports Report. We'll probably hop in the break real quick, and then when we come back, going to hop into some Pro Bowl changes as well as some American Cornhole League.
See you soon. Are you a Ferris State student interested in getting into audio production, music, podcasting, or even DJing? Bulldog Radio could be the place for you with plenty of opportunities and hands-on experience within not only these realms, but the marketing and social media opportunities outside. Join us to have your voice heard. No other place than Bulldog Radio.
And just like we're back from the break, the Pro Bowl is going to be back this upcoming year. Going to be a good time. However, going to be a little bit of a change to how this is all going to go down. As we know, they have kind of the skills competition leading up to it. I think, 1 or 2 days before, and then they have the game. But the past couple years, the game's been pretty abysmal. Nobody's been watching it, mainly because players don't want to get hurt. They don't want to do tackling or anything like that. So it's glorified two-hand touch. But now, Brandon, a little bit of transformation is going to be coming this year. They're going to glorify the two-hand touch. It's going to be a flag football game at the end of a week-long skills competition leading up to the day before the Super Bowl. It's going to be a really, really cool thing. Not to mention, I think that's going to make it so that way teams who are going to be playing in the Super Bowl, some of their guys can go do this.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see a change I want to say it's a change for the better so far. And
I like it because Pro Bowl sucks. To be honest.
So the biggest thing that I think everybody feels in this scenario is we want a Pro Bowl
that showcases
the true talent of all these players. But the problem is, in the situation a lot of these players are at the end of the season, they don't want to go out and take an extra 10, 15 more hits than they already have thousands of times in the year already. And there's guys already banged up. So what we really want to see, ideally, in this kind of a game, is we want to see them at playing all their best, which you're not going to get in the Pro Bowl. You're never going to get. And it was a good idea at the time, but times are changed now where injuries have become more prevalent than ever to team success, right? Availability is the best ability. But I think this is going to be a great.
I bet I hit my mic. That's
exchange.
why.
No, you're
why
good.
I'll scream.
No, this is then a good idea in the sense of now they're bringing this in a whole wide big circle because I'll explain it with the Pro Bowl games. This is what people want to see the Pro Bowl games idea that we've had. We want to see the skills competitions, precise passing.
I like that.
The catching, the dodgeball is always fun. That was a unique ad, but like even bringing back some of like the furthest throw.
Yeah. I think especially with it being
corner punts.
a week-long thing, I think that's going to be I think that's why they're going to add a lot more to it because they're going to kind of do it where it's because before like they had like the kicker tic-tac-toe, which was a cool thing.
Yeah.
But no punters didn't really have anything these past couple of years.
Yeah, what happened
there
to
wasn't
coffin
really
corner?
much. I mean, cornerbacks didn't really do much these past couple of years. Like it kind of made it so that way a lot of guys had to sit out, and it did a heavy focus on like receivers and quarterbacks. and that was really it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you had the dodgeball game, which everybody could play in.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't as – I don't think it showcased everything as good. So I think especially with this week-long thing, they're going to kind of, like, focus on each position a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they do for, like, offensive line and stuff. Like, what they try to do with that.
Yeah, I don't know. Pancake eating competition, maybe? I mean, I don't know.
Imagine
Yeah,
pancake eating competition, or like they'd have to do like a push a truck or something like that. See how
Ooh,
that would be kind of cool.
Now you're thinking, yeah, pushing a sled the fastest or something.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. But then again, the whole culmination of the flag football game, for the NFL, this is a slam dunk, and here's why. Since 2018, they've really been pushing the idea of being able to get kids involved in football across the board, right? Getting everybody included into the game of football, right? And especially with the girls' circuit that they started supporting the last couple of years. And now being able to provide everyone, not just guys, the opportunity to play football, that's been their goal. And now they're being able to do it with the Pro Bowl. It makes that so much more round circle inclusive. So I think that's kind of where they wanted to bring that in. And I think it's a great idea too, because we want to see a lot of these guys play flag football, right? We always ask the question, hey, what if, right? Mm-hmm. We've seen a lot of the former players end up playing in the flag league every year that has the championship covered on ESPN and all of that stuff. We've seen former players like Justin Forsett and those guys play in that league, and we're like, hey, these guys are pretty cool, right? Because we play flag football, right? Like me and Joe can't strap the pads on anymore as much as we would like to, but we still play flag, and we know what we can do. Now we compare ourselves to these NFL players, and I think it's just like, wow, they are
last
truly
year I had a
incredible
shoestring
players.
Catch, man, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Ran for like a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I
Pretty
mean, I won a
nasty.
chip in my first year of flag football.
That is true.
That's fun. Like, it's a fun game. So
and I think so too. It kind of brings back a sense of legitimacy to the thing. Because, like we said before, it was pretty abysmal for what we saw. We saw, like, as soon as it would be contact, it's like, okay, that's done. And, like, the linemen didn't try. Like, they just kind of stood up and did whatever. I felt like they were kind of there more for the chore and the check than anything, rather than actually enjoying it.
Right.
So I think with, it being a flag football game, it's going to really bring out the guys' competitiveness. It's kind of going to be more about the skill players and, cornerbacks and stuff like, and, like, secondaries of teams. And you're going to see a lot of cool situations, especially with guys who are pretty shifty on their feet, do a little bit more of that type of stuff. It's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it as well, just to be able to experience something a little bit different than what we've been seeing these past couple of years. But, Brandon, what's your favorite of, like, the skills competitions?
Oh,
from, like, years past to present.
Oh, man, there's some. I mean, I'd have to, like, look up all of
I gotta do this
the
too.
Pro Bowl competitions in years past. I've always been a big fan of especially just the overall precision passing. I think that's a cool idea. I'm not, like, when they changed it to now you have defenders there too, it's kind of made it like pretty much to be honest, like a no-look game, who can throw the best no-look passes and whatnot.
That'd be pretty sick.
But I think there's always been a couple. I've personally loved the longest throw. Like, I want to see these quarterbacks have cannons let it rip.
Especially guys like that. We got like Patrick Mahomes,
Josh
and
Allen.
Josh
Those
Allen,
guys can
Justin
sling
Herbert, who can toss. Josh Allen, guarantee he throws it 70 yards.
Oh,
if they bring that
over.
back,
I would almost say
he throws 70, 75.
Yeah, we've seen him on tape throw for almost 80 yards before. Like, you had a lot of the guys in years past that we saw have long, like Brett Favre did it, I think, a couple years ago. We saw Peyton Manning do it a couple years ago.
Well, because they had like
it was fun to see those guys.
They
just
had a competition of Bledsoe, Tom Brady, and I think Kurt Warner and stuff like that. And
yeah,
those guys were back in Tom Brady's like throwing prime when he could chuck it. He could throw it like 70 yards.
Yeah,
pretty darn close. Same with Kurt Warner and especially Bledsoe. He could chuck it too.
Yeah, I want there to be also some sort of a punting competition that involves. I don't know if they would call it like coffin corner, like in Madden, where you got to like get inside. There's like a quadrant of a circle, and it's like the closer you get to the pylon, the more points you have, and the quadrant gets smaller. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like a quarter of a bullseye kind of a thing.
Sick.
Yeah, like just something that gives the punters, because I don't think I think like a lot of people don't understand how good punters really are.
Yeah.
Because like the idea of putting a ball perfectly inside of a 5-yard strip of field with considering bounce, which is never consistent almost, but they get it to be consistent, right? Like, it would take me probably 3, 4, 5 tries to actually hit a turnover. Like, and that's hard enough. These guys have to do it efficiently. They have to do it with precision every single time they touch the football. And that's what is so impressive. And I would love to see these guys show off their skills and like, oh yeah, put it on the 3-yard line on the right hash. And then they just do it. And you're like, whoa.
It's insane what
like they can do that. Like, I want to see them actually be able to show that. Quote Rich Eisen, punters are people too, baby. Give them some recognition. Let them kick some balls, man.
I'd say probably my favorite was like I like the thread the needle, where like they have all the targets for a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then like the cornerbacks have to try to block the
the one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, that one's pretty sick. That one's like my favorite.
Yeah, that one's actually really cool. I personally like the one before it, the actual accuracy one, where they have like they have the spinning target up on top of a tower, and then they have like the deep the deep what are those those huge like poster boards in the corner of the end zones for like the 4-pointers and stuff, you know what I'm talking about? And then they have like the slider targets coming across and stuff. I like that precision passing one as well. But there's so many good ones, right? It makes everything they do seem so much better, and right? That's why we have the Pro Bowl, to make these players and show their greatness, because they are great. That's why they're in the Pro Bowl. So why not have these?
Before it did not look that way. Especially with leading up to the Pro Bowl game.
Yeah, right.
Very happy with the changes that NFL is bringing to this. I think it's going to be, one, better for the longevity of these players, to be able to kind of have that, one, longevity of the excitement around the Pro Bowl, and also just kind of making it so it's going to be a better time for everybody.
Yeah, and it's keeping them healthy, right? Mm-hmm. Don't have to actually worry about taking a bad hit, because it's flag football.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, obviously you're
going to what about like ACLs or something like that, or like, rolling an ankle or something like that. But you don't have to worry about the big stuff, like breaking like a rib or something like that, or getting a concussion.
Right. There's a little bit more room for them to be able to compete a little bit more, rather than actually playing a physical football game, because that's obviously going to be the most concerning that you could have. But I'm excited for the Pro Bowl. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be in Vegas this year, is what the NFL said originally. Obviously, that's going to be super fun to see where they ended up going with this and seeing how it does. So I think it's going to be fun. Wait, is it in Vegas this year? I don't think that's right. It was in Vegas last year.
I think it's in Orlando.
Correctly.
Or near Orlando.
Is it in Orlando? I'm wondering if they're putting it in the same place as the Super Bowl or not. I'm very curious to see how.
I saw. One sec. I literally just saw it.
Because the Super Bowl is in Glendale. It's in Arizona, right? So would it be
taking place at the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex at Walt Disney World
so it's
Resort
in Orlando. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So that's going to be, I'm assuming then they're going to do it the week before, not the week of the Super Bowl. So that would make sense. So, hey, maybe this will be the first opportunity that I think Coach might actually like let Super Bowl players go, but I doubt that anybody will, because obviously you're playing in the biggest football game of your career at that point. So no distractions needed. But for us, the viewers, it's going to be a much better Pro Bowl, I think, in my opinion. So it's going to be fun. But anyway, final show. We're doing Joe's list of undercovered sports. And today, he actually gave me the honor to do the selection today.
Brandon's pick
and
today.
I had to pick the great sport of cornhole. American Cornhole League. I'll tell you what, if you're ever bored and you just need something to occupy your time,
it's not even funny.
Turn on the American Cornhole League, man. Go on YouTube, find one of the best matches on the internet, and it's just crazy because I want to say 2-3 years ago, the ACL didn't exist, and now it's on ESPN.
Now it's on ESPN, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 conferences in the American Cornhole League.
Yeah, that's insane. That is insane, dude.
Here's a question. Who's better at cornhole? Would it be the Great Lakes region, which is Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana? Or would it be like the Southeast or like the South?
I feel like Midwest is just where cornhole is meant to be. That's where it was obviously corn in the name itself.
Yeah.
I think
it's gotta be Great Lakes or Midwest have got to be like the powerhouses.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of great players from that Southeast region too. So,
Yeah, true.
but I mean, overall, I mean, you got so many great regions all together. I think definitely the two you mentioned are the top of the list. But I mean, it's just crazy the fact that we got so many of these elite style players. And the best thing that I love about the American Cornhole League is they're bringing other people into this thing, especially with the Celebrity Super Hole. If anybody's ever seen that, where they've brought people in, like Jay Cutler's competed before. A couple NFL players also have been in there. They brought the team from the CBS series SWAT. They hosted like their own like tournament gathering type thing. It was super cool. And the fact is, what really, like, I think what the ACL and what the professional disc golf scene does is they make the professional circuit relatable to the local levels. Like they make it so that you can go from being a hobby player, you can be this person that's only learned of the game on Tuesday, and you can still compete with a lot of these high-level players, and you can learn, and then you can improve, and then you can really take it to the next level if you choose to. Mm-hmm. And then you can go up in ranks, and you can buy the same bags, these same pro two-sided suede and duck cloth bags that the pros are throwing. Like, you can get that experience of what they're dealing with. And then again, kind of like the Pro Bowls, you can like be able to relate a little bit to like, oh, this is what the pros do. Mm-hmm. And then you can go out and try their shots, literally exact same board, exact same bags if you choose to spend the dough to get there. But then again, it's just like their mission statement says, promotes and develops cornhole as a sport for any age and any skill level. And that's really what it is. You can play at any level, anytime, anywhere against somebody that's just competitive you.
Pro? That's pretty sick.
Yeah, you can go pro, semi-pro, like advanced, intermediate. There's so many categories, and like there's even a novice level.
Real question, when does the season start?
Oh, yeah.
This is like, because last year it started around like February.
Yeah.
For the Johnsonville one.
Yeah.
The Johnsonville series. And then before that, it was like, because of Bacardi, or whatever it was, the division that's sponsored by Bacardi started like, I don't know, April, May?
Yeah, something like that. I think
it might be a little bit until we get some cornhole on TV, but.
Yeah, but there will be tournaments on there every year. And now they've made their whole media digital network. And there's just so many different competitions on so many different levels now. You have the Pro Series, you have the Johnsonville Championship Series, you have the ACL Pro Shootout Series, you have the Open Series. Like, there's all these different abilities to play, and I think the media side of it too is like they're very community friendly. Like being able to post they used to have this Trick Shot Weekly thing, which, not to brag or anything, but me and my buddy Hunter actually made it before. Onto that top 10 list. They actually aired on SportsCenter, which was really cool. But like you can literally.
I remember that. Was that the one that was off the trampoline?
Is an off a trampoline backflip from about 30 to 40, 30, maybe probably 20, 30 yards away. Yeah,
dude. Just
canned it. It was insane. I wasn't actually physically there, but I just got a random text in the afternoon in the middle of summer. It was like, "Oh, hey, dude, guess what I did?" It was like, "What'd you do?" And then you sent me the video, and I'm like, what? Yeah, I was bored this afternoon, so we wanted to try this. And then, yeah, literally we were on SportsCenter within a week. I was like, okay, this is cool. So, but they aired that stuff. Like, they are very good about getting a lot of local players and local people involved that follow them within the social networking community. And I think that's really cool. And I think that's why sports like that, like the Disc Golf Pro Tour, like are so user-friendly, and they attract so many players because they're so inviting.
Yeah, and especially with a lot of these, like, I wouldn't say smaller, sport leagues, but like we said, just the more undercovered ones, like, we've seen that a lot of their community engagement and their ability to connect with the people who are passionate about their sports and stuff is the reason why they're growing so fast. And it's really cool to see that, like, that's kind of paying off for them, especially with ACL, because, like, I've seen it too, that they're they're really into it with getting, like, their fans involved, the people who are at the events involved and stuff like that. It's really cool to see. And the one thing that's really cool is like their like celebrity series that they do is really cool. Yeah. I mean, we talked about it already, but like that's one thing that I really like about this whole thing is because like you can see your favorite. It's just like it's just kind of like seeing the feeling that I get, at least, is like you're at like a cookout you know? And
Yep.
that's what it feels like. You're just watching like these celebrities at a cookout that you're at, kind of tossing some cornhole. Yeah, it's higher stakes, obviously, but that's kind of just what you get from the feeling, you know?
Yeah, you can relate to the professional side of the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's
You
what
ever
makes
get
it cool.
You ever get a 4-bagger before, Brandon?
Oh, I made a couple 4-baggers in my day.
Okay, geez. You don't got to
Yeah.
toss out the couple,
No,
Mr.
yeah.
Too good at what you do.
Yeah, fun fact, I actually played in a league over COVID. I had some time to fill now that we didn't have an indoor season 2 years ago. Well, like we did have an indoor season, but I was redshirting because I had a broken foot at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I actually played in a league at the Res Life Church here in Big Rapids
I
before.
went to a couple of those.
Yeah, Joe, you were there a couple of those times. Yeah, I used to play in that. I played in that league like competitively. I think, and I ended up finishing second or third. And there's some great players in that league. Let me tell you what. So no, it was super fun just to be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna try this. Like I had never really played competitive cornhole before. Played it as competitive as I could for 8 weeks. I always knew I was pretty good, but I just gave it a try, and I was like, man, there's some good players, and they're just locals. Like they're just locals coming in from 15, 20 miles away, and it's like, man, this is just one sector. We have a whole like big region, and then we have a whole state. And then, like you were mentioning, these giant regions of these incredible players. Like it's just
insane, man.
It's just insane. And the one thing I would also mention here, as we're kind of wrapping up too, their ability to not only go on the professional side, but the college and high school side, and providing these scholarship incentives for some of these. Like they literally will play a college tournament every year, and the winner receives like I want to say it's literally like $20,000 worth of scholarship.
It's a lot of money.
To play in this, like, and I think I want to almost say that Ferris State has participated in it before. Maybe not though, but if they haven't, they certainly should, because that'd be kind of cool to see how far the Dawgs could go. Because I know there's a IM league that you can participate in for cornhole. I almost signed up for 1 year, but I had a couple classes that came first, unfortunately. But I mean, super cool. Cornhole is a fun sport. I mean, just as fun seeing it on professional competitive level on TV, or like Joe said, backyard barbecue cookout with you and your family. Like it's just as fun to play with all different types of people, and people play in different ways too. So it's always a unique game that gets everybody involved, no matter how good you are and no matter how much you're interested in it. There's people, of course, all over the world that say, I'll play a game of cornhole once in a while.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, so super cool series. Joe, who's your favorite player?
I don't know his name exactly, but he's the guy who like brings it back straight.
Matt guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
He's the top player.
He
I
brings
think,
it back
in the world.
straight. I like him because he posts like trick shots that he does, like when he's just like messing around in his barn and stuff. And he'll set it up where he has like 7 boards stacked on top of each other, and like the ball or the bag just goes like straight through all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I like him.
I
He's pretty
think,
good.
Yeah, he's really cool. There's a couple guys that I watched. Have you ever watched? Oh my gosh, what is his name? Oh man, Cody Henderson. Have you ever watched or seen Cody Henderson? The guy that literally chirps the entire game. Wait, it's cornhole. Why are you chirping?
I love guys who chirp. That's my favorite thing, because I love to chirp too. I love to trash talk people. That's like
Joe
one of my
does
favorite
like
things.
to trash talk.
I love that.
That's what's nice when we play together, because you'll switch sides and you'll get a whole different dynamic. You'll get me silent, locked in. I won't say much. I'll congratulate you a couple times on a good shots, but I'm focused on my own game.
Dude, when we were playing IM basketball last year, there was a time where like this kid like was starting to trash talk me. I was giving right back to him, and he kind of chirped Brandon a little bit, and I was like, Brandon's not going to say anything. I'll say something, and it was funny. I'm not going to repeat what I said.
I dropped 10 points after that, so
yeah.
that's all
I didn't say nothing bad. I didn't say nothing bad. I didn't say like swear words or anything.
Oh no.
It was just it was a very funny little chirp back and forth type deal.
Yeah, our dynamic is nice because I'll hit you with the humble.
Brandon's good at sports. I'm not super great at sports. Brandon can back it up.
You are good at chirping, though.
But I am good at chirping.
You are better at sports than you give yourself credit for.
Maybe.
I take pride in being able to do a lot of things very well. I'm not amazing at anything, but I'm good to great at a lot of things. I'm a jack of all trades, and I take pride in that.
Yeah. I can just do a backflip. That's really about it.
You can do more than the back. Joe can shoot and pass the ball. Wicked.
That's true. I got that Jason Williams vision.
He's got the Jason Williams package. Don't let him tell you he doesn't. You literally dropped me an elbow pass in a game one time, and I almost dropped it. I was That's like, true. It's coming. I know it's coming. and then you started to actually drive, and I was like, oh crap, now I'm gonna rebound, and then you threw it to me, and I was like, crap, I wasn't ready. Because it's fun because you're usually the one, like for me, I'm the one's throwing the passes. I'm never actually anticipating them. Now I play with Joe that also throws flashy passes like me, and I'm like, crap, I actually have to be ready to catch these things.
It's an electric factor really when we get out on the court together.
It is an electric
We might have
factor.
to record one of these days when IM basketball season starts up.
Oh man, you're gonna get me back into IM basketball, aren't you?
I kind of am.
Okay, well,
looks
like y'all are gonna have to subscribe and then follow along.
We'll get somebody to film it, put it on the story.
Yeah, put it on the story.
We'll get some highlights.
Highlight package. Let's talk to Will. Will will hook us up with a mixtape.
Will could hit us with a sick mixtape.
Shout out to Will.
Dude, his video this week, if you haven't seen it on Ferris's Instagram or the YouTube, it's a pretty clean video.
Yeah, the videographer for athletics, he has made the hype tapes, the field level hype tapes. If you haven't seen
Jeffy,
them
and Adam have
Ferris.
been
Yeah,
pounding out some insane content.
those guys are absolutely great.
Crazy
at their
talented.
job. We need to get one of them in the chair.
Probably.
Let us
Maybe
know
all
if you-
three. Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't
let
know
us
if we have
know
enough
if you guys.
mics, but
Yeah, let us know if you guys want them on the show because I think that would be a cool interview. But thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us at the MBSP on all podcasting and social media platforms. And bonus, we're on Amazon Music and iHeartRadio now.
dang.
Big steps. So you
Big
can
steppers.
subscribe there if you're an iHeartRadio or an Amazon Music person. So we're getting you the content. You can always follow us on YouTube for our best bits and more. Thanks again to Brendan Cairney for coming on the show. And until next time.
Take care, everybody.